Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today we are looking at what I think is one of the best value gaming mouses you can pick up right now. This was sent to me for free for review from AliExpress. They currently have a big sale going on right now, and I chose this one to review for you guys as I think this is going to be a really great option if some of you are currently looking for a gaming mouse, and it has a whole bunch of extra features that just make it feel that little bit more premium. So if you do want to support my channel, you can use my link down below and get yourself a pretty nice discount on this product. Let's jump into the rest of the video. You have three different ways you can use this mouse. One is wireless mode, the other is via the USB-C cable in wired mode, and also it can be used via Bluetooth. The mouse weighs 56 grams, has a 400 mAh battery, and has an impressive polling rate of up to 8000 Hz. As usual, let's take a look at the unboxing experience to see what this is like, especially if you're thinking of picking this up as a gift for someone. The box isn't exactly for my taste, but it definitely does have some gamer vibes going on. If you was buying this for a gift for someone, I think it would be nicer if it had some better features and specs highlighted on the box a little bit clearer. We do get a manual and also some grip tapes included and some replacement rubber pieces for the bottom of the mouse as well. I like the USB-C cable that has been included here. It's thick and feels high quality and has a braided finish. We also get our charging dock, which also doubles as a status screen. One of the best I've seen so far in the wireless mouses I've used, and I'll be showing you more of this later. And of course, moving on to the mouse, you'll see I went for my usual boring black design. Looks very stealthy and has a nice, decent quality finish to it. We're talking about this more in a moment, of course.
1 minute to go. Double kill. Heating up. Guardian Angel. Kill. Guardian Angel. Firecracker taken. 10 seconds left.
First of all, I want to talk about the design of this mouse. So on the right here, I'm going to be comparing it to this mouse, which is a Deluxe M500 Pro. I've already done a full review on this one, and I'll put a card at the top of the video if you want to check it out. Here we've of course got the Apex. Now I'm going to refer to this mouse as the Apex and this one as the Deluxe, just to keep it simple so I don't have to rattle off the words every time. And I want to talk about the differences between them so you can get an idea of what the Apex is like. So the Deluxe was interesting when I compared it to the Apex, because when I first picked these up, I was sure that the Apex was heavier, and I think that's because it has a slightly more compact design. It's flatter on the front here where you've got your left and right click controls, and the Deluxe has, you'll see, a lot more of a hump and a more pronounced curve at the top. But when I actually weighed these, the Deluxe is actually 2 grams heavier, coming in, I think it was 56 grams or something like that. It was like 2 grams heavier than the Deluxe. So that was quite surprising. And I think that was just due to the Apex having a more compact design. It kind of felt heavier in my hand, maybe because there's roughly the same amount of weight distributed over a smaller area. So if you do want a really light mouse, I do feel this is definitely on the lighter end. I haven't reviewed a ton of mouses yet, so I'm sure there probably are even lighter ones on the market. But for me at least, I feel like the Apex is quite a light mouse. It does have a bit more of a sturdy feel in the hand when you compare it to the Deluxe over here. And also the left and right clicks, because it has a flat finish rather than this more hump design of the Deluxe, it just feels more compact and kind of a bit more rigid in your hand, whereas the Deluxe just feels a little bit lighter in some ways, and the controls on the Deluxe do also feel a little bit kind of more flimsy when you compare them to the Apex. They feel more tighter and compact and slightly higher quality, I would say. The Apex feels like the clicks of the buttons, especially the side buttons, they do feel quite a bit more tactile and firm. So I feel like the Apex in general does feel, at least in the hand, it feels kind of higher quality than the Deluxe. But when it comes to actually using them for gaming and day to day, I can't really say I massively preferred one over the other. They were relatively simple in how they felt and operated. I can't really say I much preferred one over the other. They both felt really nice. They felt light enough that I really enjoyed using them throughout my gaming. And I think it's going to be more just a preference of the design. And the Apex does, of course, have this slightly slimmer, more compact build to it. So if you do have quite large hands, that may be a factor of maybe why you'd go for the Deluxe, because it does fill my hand a bit better, whereas the Apex is a lot more snug. I think I've got kind of medium-sized hands. I wouldn't say they're large or really small, maybe somewhere in the middle. So if you do have really large hands, I feel like the Apex is probably going to be a little bit too small for you, whereas the Deluxe does kind of fill out your hand a little bit better. If we flip them over, they do have quite a similar design. We've got our tri-mode switch here, which lets us go between the 2.4 gigahertz mode, your Bluetooth mode, and on the Deluxe you have to put it to the center to use the wire, and with the Apex you can just leave it on 2.4 gigahertz and it will still work when you plug it in. And then we've got our DPI button on both of them as well. Now, I want to talk about the charging dock as well, because that was something that really interested me in the Apex, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to bring the charging dock for the Deluxe into view, and I'm going to move this a bit closer because it's probably not really going to be in focus very well. So you'll see the Apex charging mount has a screen on the front, and the camera I don't think quite does it justice. It has quite a high-end looking finish to it. It looks like glass on the front. I don't think it is, but it kind of has this nice shine to it, which gives it a high quality feel. And you've also got these really nice side lights on the Apex's charger as well. Now I don't have the Deluxe plugged in, so this isn't the greatest or most fair comparison because it doesn't have the side lighting on, but I do prefer the lighting on the Apex's charging dock. Now, the best thing about this screen is it always gives you an indication of the amount of charge left in your mouse. So when you move your mouse, it will then power on and the screen is going to change here. Let me adjust the camera so you can see this a bit better. So you'll see that we've got a battery indication, and that's always going to be on there when we're using the mouse, so we can see how much battery is left. And this might sound like quite a minor thing, but the reason I really like this feature is because when I was using the Deluxe mouse, there was no real indication of when the battery was low. So there is a small LED on the Deluxe here in the middle, but it's really hard to see, and I don't think it actually changes when the mouse is low on battery. So there was quite a few times where I was literally in the craziest gaming sessions of my life using the Deluxe here, and it died all of a sudden, and that wasn't a good experience. So I had to really quickly pull the cable here out the back of the Deluxe's charging dock, plug it into this mouse, and switch this to the middle to put it into the wired mode. And this is not a good experience. Like, you don't want this to happen if you're in the middle of a really important gaming session, or you're in like a tournament or something like that. That's not really going to be acceptable. Now, it's probably going to be partly an error on my part because you can open up the app on your computer for the Deluxe and you can check the battery level, but sometimes we forget to do that. With the Apex, however, you're not going to have that situation because you're always going to have your battery indicated on the screen here anytime you're using it. So it's going to be pretty hard to miss. There is also an LED on the top here. You should be able to see it. And this will also flash red when the mouse is low. You're going to be less likely to see that because you're going to be covering it up, but you've got at least a better chance than the Deluxe. So that was one feature that really interested me in this mouse, was the charging dock. And I've got used to using charging docks now, so I don't think I would want to be without one. There is also another point worth mentioning that may be a downside of the Apex, and that is that, let me move out of the way so this goes into focus. You'll see on the Deluxe, the charging dock actually has the receiver that you plug into it. And what that means is you can actually get rid of the charging dock and you can plug the receiver straight into your computer. And then you can also use the Deluxe without the charging dock. The Apex, however, doesn't have that option, as the receiver is built into the charging dock. So for some of you, this might be a little bit of a downside. To me, it didn't really bother me. I'm always going to use the charging dock, and I want to have the screen at all times so I can see how much charge is left. But it's just something worth bearing in mind if you do for some reason want to have the option of not using the charging dock and just plug in the receiver straight into your computer. Just worth bearing in mind. Let's go over to the computer. So I'm now going to show you the software that comes with this mouse. I'll put a link down below if you want to download this. Now you have two options at the bottom here. The USB one is for your hub. So this is where you can change the actual picture on the wireless hub. And you also have your mouse down here, which you can click on. Now this is pretty standard for wireless mouses I've used before. It's very customizable. You can mess with macro keys in here. You can change what the buttons are actually doing. You can mess, of course, with your DPI settings. You can also set the polling rate of the mouse. Of course, this one goes up to 8,000 Hertz. I typically stick with 2 to try and maybe use a little bit less battery life. And beyond that, it may be quite hard to actually tell a difference. We got some more macro keys and some more options in here as well. You can also upgrade the software itself, and you can upgrade the firmware for your mouse if you plug it in via the USB cable. So let's go over to the wireless charging dock, and in here you can see we have a whole bunch of options we can do. For example, we can draw something on our screen, and I'm going to move the wireless dock so it's in a better position. And this is the first time I've actually done this, so I don't know how well this is going to work. Let's see if this actually works. Upload picture. And there we go. We've got our smiley face. Really, really terribly drawn smiley face on our screen. Let me show you a few more options that this dock has. So underneath, this is how we change the lights. There's a little button here. When we press that, it's going to cycle between some different options. We have this one here. We can turn it off. Got kind of like a more of a rainbow effect. And then this pulsating one, which also changes colors as well, I believe. Yeah. And then lastly, there is a button on the back, and this just changes the display of the screen on the front. We've got a few different options here. So you've got a time and date. It doesn't always want to change. I'm not sure why. And then this one shows you your battery status, and it shows you what DPI setting you're using, what polling rate setting you're using as well. And that brings us to the end of the video, and here are my final thoughts on this product. It's obviously not the cheapest gaming mouse on the market, but when I say it offers really good value, I mean when you think of everything that it's offering in one package. You've got your charging dock, you've got the screen on the front, which offers some additional features that I think are useful, such as displaying your battery life. The mouse itself feels high quality, it's lightweight, it has a good battery life, it charges fairly quickly, and it's very versatile as you can use it in 3 different modes. So if you're thinking of picking up this product and you see it on a really good sale, I would highly recommend getting it. If it's listed at its full price, then I think the value sometimes isn't worth it for this mouse. There may be some better options out there. But if you see this mouse on sale, I really do think it's worth picking up, as it just does feel quite premium, I feel, for the money you're paying for it. And I think most of you won't be disappointed. As always, if you would like to support my channel, you can use my link down below and you'll probably get yourself an additional discount on the product as well. I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more videos like this one. And of course, I will see you in the next one.